Thanks. Hey, who would have thought those batteries rolling around in your kitchen junk drawers might actually burn your house down?
In fact, I've never thought, but this happened to a Colorado family, and not the first time. Bill Gephardt gets it on how improperly stored batteries can be a real hazard.
Wow.
It just never crossed my mind.
No, except for this. Maybe this would. Sometimes we buy these batteries, and they have this little cap on them that covers the terminals. Not all consumer batteries are sold this way, but sometimes they are. You think that's done just so that you know that the battery's fresh? No, not necessarily. That sometimes prevent hazards of these things going to the wrong place. Wow. Because, you know, I think few of us give the batteries the respect they might deserve. We toss them into our junk drawers where they roll around with all sorts of things: the keys, the paper clips, the loose notes, paper scraps. Some conduct electricity, some catch on fire. But given the circumstances, those junk drawers can become boxes with these things that sometimes they can ignite. It happened to that man whose home burned down in Colorado, and now he wants to warn all of us about the danger.
I have a fire. I need the fire department here.
Inside your house?
Yes, inside my house.
Dave Miller says he lost everything when a fire ripped through his Fort Collins, Colorado home. Just days earlier, he shot this video to explain what happened. He had swapped out the 9-volt batteries in his smoke alarms, placing the old ones in a paper bag for recycling.
2 weeks later, when I set a laundry basket on the shelf next to these, it bumped the bag. 2 batteries touched together, shorted the terminals, and that's what burned down my house.
It was a shocker.
Dave says the revelation came after a long day with a fire investigator trying to track down the fire's source.
We just couldn't come up with anything, and then I finally mentioned, the only thing I had up there is a bag with a couple of little 9-volt batteries in it. And he went, wait a minute, I've seen this before, and he told me that he had seen other fires started by 9 volts. It just astounded me. I had no idea.
Dave says he took the fire hard because he felt responsible.
I'm the recycle nut in the house, and I'm the one who put the batteries out there, and so I just felt like I had let my family down.
If these batteries, if there's any sort of metal in there with them, and these batteries get connected together in any way, they will short out and they'll cause an extreme amount of heat.
Austin Dransfield of Interstate Battery says all batteries have a positive and negative terminal. If so much as a paperclip or a key or another battery should touch those 2 terminals, you'll create the flow of electricity, and it only takes minutes, as Dransfield showed us with keys and a 9-volt battery, for that flow to generate significant heat.
You know, with a junk drawer, you have all sorts of stuff in there, so if anything else in there, you can catch fire to anything in that drawer.
It's not something that happens a lot.
Jason Acey of the Salt Lake City Fire Department says it is unusual for batteries to combust into flames, but it's definitely a possibility. And while he says all batteries present some risk, 9 volts are the most troublesome for a simple reason.
9-volt batteries have the positive and negative ports right there on the top of the battery.
Dave Miller says since the fire, he's turned his experience into a positive by getting the word out through his fire safety videos and public speaking. Still, he encounters skeptics.
Folks have come up to me and said, well, don't worry, I'm always very careful with my car batteries. And I said, it's not a car battery. I'm talking about the little, the little 9-volt battery.
Given the perfect storm, they can produce a spark.
Acey says people should store any battery in the proper packaging they came in. You don't want to let them roll around.
If you have a battery and you don't need it to use it yet, there's really no use in taking it out of the packaging.
For loose batteries, both Acey and Austin Dransfield say the solution is simple. Take a piece of electrical tape and cover the ends so that if they do touch, a short will not be created.
We even here on our batteries when we're recycling them, we actually have to tape the contacts just to prevent any sort of chance of them shorting out and starting a fire.
Dave now keeps a roll of electrical tape anywhere he keeps batteries.
Every battery in our house has tape on it.
See now, I crossed this battery with a paper clip that conducts electricity just for about the past 10 or 15 seconds. Laurie, feel that.
Oh my gosh.
Is it hot? I want to feel.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that really is hot.
Yeah, it's too hot to hold in your hand, and I just crossed it with this paperclip for 10 or 15 seconds, so there you go. And what about disposing of these things? Sometimes you can recycle them, sometimes not. You can throw them away, but put that little piece of tape on top of them, because that does get hot.
I've never even seen them come with the cap that you just showed us either, so.
They don't often, but sometimes they do, and it's not to show that it's fresh. It's to show that it could be a hazard.
Wow.
That is wild.
Yep. There you go.
Bill Gephardt.